You know, from the absolute smallest insect to the biggest whale in the ocean, every single living thing has this one thing in common, this constant driving need to eat. So today, we're going to dive into the incredible, and trust me, sometimes really surprising ways that nature gets its next meal.
It seems like such a basic question, doesn't it? But the answer? Well, the answer is this amazing, complex web that connects literally every organism on the entire planet. So, how does the world's dinner table actually work?
At its very core, it all boils down to one word: energy. Every single hunt, every bite of a leaf, every little sip of nectar, it's all part of this constant planet-wide search for the fuel that everything needs to live, to grow, and to reproduce.
Okay, so let's get into this, and we'll start right at the foundation. The first big group of consumers in any food chain, they're the ones who go straight to the source. We're talking about the plant eaters.
So, first up, we've got the herbivores. These guys are the primary consumers, that absolutely crucial first link in the whole energy chain. Their job is to take the energy that plants make from sunlight and turn it into something other animals can use. You could almost say they turn salads into steak for the next level up.
Just look at this giraffe. I mean, it's a perfect, living, breathing example of a specialized herbivore. That incredible height? It's not just for looks. No way. It's a huge competitive advantage, letting it snack on leaves that are way out of reach for everybody else. Its entire day, every single day, is all about one thing: eating enough green stuff to power that massive body.
But, you know, herbivore is actually a really broad term. Nature absolutely loves specialists. So you have frugivores, who only eat fruit. Then there are granivores, who go for seeds. You've got tiny nectivores, like hummingbirds, that are built to sip nectar. And of course, fulivores, like that giraffe we just saw, that specialize only in leaves. Each one has carved out its own unique little spot in the world.
All right, let's climb up to the next level and see how this all connects. So if herbivores are getting their energy from plants, where do other animals get theirs? Well, from the herbivores. So, meet the carnivores, the hunters.
And this brings us to the carnivores. These are the animals that get all their energy by eating other animals. So, if they eat an herbivore, they're what we call a secondary consumer. But if a carnivore eats another carnivore, it becomes a tertiary consumer. You can start to see how that energy just keeps flowing up from one level to the next. And this right here illustrates that flow of energy perfectly. On one side, you've got the herbivore, the giraffe, just munching on some plants. And on the other, the carnivore, the lion, who gets its energy by hunting that giraffe. This is that classic predator-prey relationship that really shapes entire ecosystems. But here's the thing, carnivores aren't all just giant cats and sharks. You think a ladybug is just a cute little bug in the garden? Think again. That ladybug is actually a fierce little carnivore. It's a huge help to us, protecting our plants by hunting and eating hundreds of tiny pests called aphids. Who knew? So, we've got our plant eaters and we've got our meat eaters. But what if you don't want to choose? Well, that's where our next group comes in, the omnivores, the ones that basically eat a little bit of everything. This quote really just sums it up perfectly. Omnivores have this thing called nutritional flexibility. And that adaptability, well, that's their superpower. If one food source gets hard to find, they can just switch over to another one. It gives them this huge advantage for survival. And this group is probably way more familiar than you think. We're talking bears, chickens, even crayfish. And yep, that's us. Humans are the classic example of an omnivore, able to get energy from a massive variety of both plants and animals.
Okay, so we follow the energy from plants to herbivores and then on to carnivores and omnivores. But what happens when all these things die? This is where the most important and, honestly, the most overlooked group comes into play: nature's cleanup crew.
Now, it's really important to know there are two different jobs going on here. Think of it as macro and micro. Scavengers, like vultures, are the first responders. They're the macro cleaners, physically eating the bodies of dead animals. And then come the decomposers, like fungi and bacteria. They're the micro cleaners, doing the final crucial step of chemically breaking down whatever is left over. And this table just shows you how specialized these jobs really are. I mean, look at fungi. They shoot out enzymes to break down tough plant stuff, recycling carbon and making the soil fertile. Or vultures, who literally clean the environment and stop diseases from spreading. Each one has a very specific and absolutely vital job in this whole recycling process.
And let's be crystal clear about just how important they are. This quote says it all.
Without scavengers and decomposers, the entire system would just stop. It would grind to a halt. All the nutrients would be locked up in dead things, plants couldn't grow, and the whole food web would just completely collapse.
So, as we've seen, this isn't just some simple chain, right? It's a crazy, complex, interconnected web where every single member, no matter how small, plays a critical part. It really is a delicate balance.
We've seen how the herbivores capture the sun's energy, how carnivores and omnivores move it through the system, and how the decomposers complete the whole cycle by returning it all back to the soil. It's a perfect loop. Not a single drop of energy is ever wasted.
And that really leaves us with a final and pretty crucial question to think about. What if you just removed one of these links? Say, no more predators, or no more decomposers. What do you think would happen? The answer really shows you just how fragile and at the same time how beautiful this whole world of appetites truly is.